Good evening. We are live tonight from Bondi Beach, a place suffocating in grief right now. Our city has been shattered by terror and we are still coming to grips with it. Tonight, what triggered this madness and mass killing by a father and son?
Murder. I saw murder. I was lying on top of my son.
The panic as people ran for their lives. 15 were murdered, dozens more injured.
What we saw yesterday was an act of pure evil.
The heroes who risked everything to save so many. This act of bravery beyond words. So is the fear in our Jewish community.
We will not tolerate racism. We will not tolerate anti-Semitism.
This tragedy is being felt around the world, and this growing memorial is at the centre of all that pain.
Terror in Bondi. This is a special edition of 7 News with Mark Ferguson, live from Bondi Beach.
Good evening. We've been warned many times it could happen. We've seen it in other parts of the world, but we could never imagine it would unfold like this. Right now, our city, our nation is broken beyond belief. But certainly we are not beaten. Overwhelmingly, we mourn for the loved ones and for the 15 victims who have lost their lives in this senseless tragedy. Here at Bondi yesterday evening, and we certainly stand with the survivors. These are some of those we've lost. Innocent people enjoying a Sunday at the beach. Some were dancing on the lawn and laughing, others just spending time with their families and friends, unaware of what a father and son were planning just a few short steps away. And when the shooting started, there was panic and seemingly nowhere to run. Remarkably, this brave hero ran towards the danger, tackling the evil head-on. One of many brave souls who refused to surrender to fear, drawing a line of defiance close to the Bondi sand. There is so much for us to cover tonight. We have our teams in place right across the crime zone, right across the many hospitals, talking to victims, talking to survivors and talking to heroes. Our chief reporter, Chris Reason, begins our coverage on a tragedy that has affected so many and will be felt so very widely.
Australia's most famous beach now defined by an act of unprecedented evil. A father and son on a weekend hunting trip. Their targets, the terrified members of Bondi's Jewish community, attending one of the most significant religious celebrations of the year, Hanukkah. They had nowhere to hide.
Oh my God.
Hundreds had gathered in Archer Park for the family festival. They were sitting ducks. Parents jumped on their children, all pushed themselves flat into the dirt as bullets exploded around them. Innocent civilians huddled together, horrified, as victims fell to the left and right, their selection completely random. The gunmen positioned on top of this pedestrian bridge, a 3-metre height advantage and concrete wall protection. Equipped with high-powered, long-arm weapons, they peppered the civilians below, shot by shot. The shooters, 24-year-old Naveed Akram and his 50-year-old father Sajid. For Bondi's Jewish community, carnage.
The bullets were flying all the time they were shooting. We were hiding behind the rock climbing thing.
The famous sands emptied as people sprinted for cover. For a handful of horrifying minutes, Campbell Parade became death row.
There were people that we couldn't save, Chris. There were people already dead.
Strangers helping strangers. This woman with blood-stained hands and a blood-stained hat.
Child was screaming. I was holding that he wouldn't be killed.
I was lying on top of my son.
Your son?
My son, 8 years old son. I fell on top of him and then another injured guy fell on top of me.
But it could have been so much worse if it hadn't been for this moment of extraordinary self-sacrifice. Stalking the older shooter, Ahmed Al-Ahmed, a 43-year-old shop owner from the Sutherland Shire. Putting his life on the line in an act of bravery that defies belief. Al-Ahmed resists the temptation to shoot, letting the gunman back away. Another bystander runs in, throwing projectiles at him. But moments later, he's shot by the second shooter still on the bridge, before Hero Al-Ahmed is himself shot in the abdomen. Long-time news cameraman Nick Castellaro lives right opposite. As most ran from the danger, he joined the police running towards it. At one point, all three of them were pinned down by the gunfire, taking cover behind cars. Here, he's just metres away as Hero Al-Ahmed rushes in for the tackle. Just to the left, another bystander's shot and goes down. Here, Castellaro ducks as the gunman swings around and takes aim.
He was, I could just close enough to me, he was angry, Rizzo. So...
You could see it on his face?
You could.
In his eyes?
The final shootout captured by drone from above. The 50-year-old already shot dead at his son's feet before he too takes a bullet and goes down.
Yeah, they got him. He's down.
Within minutes, the bridge is swarming with bystanders and police. It is chaos. And they want blood, screaming for revenge as police hold them back. In that short time, the pair had inflicted Australia's worst mass shooting since the Port Arthur massacre 1996. There are now 16 dead and more than 40 injured.
And the victims' age ranges are from as young as 10 to 87. A devastating fact.
10-year-old Matilda, a former student of the Harmony Russian School at Bellevue Hill. Holocaust survivor Alex Kleitman, father of 2, grandfather of 11, father of 5, Rabbi Eli Schlanger, served his community almost 2 decades. And Rabbi Yaakov Levitan, a giant of the Bondi community. Reuven Morrison, killed as he tried to warn others. French national engineer Dan Elkayam. Beloved father and husband Tibor Whiteson, fatally wounded while shielding his wife. Then retired New South Wales police officer Peter Marr.
It's hard not to be upset. It's a tragedy that we've never seen.
Images they'd never imagined. And will never forget. With 50-year-old Sajid Akram shot dead and 24-year-old Naveed under police guard in hospital, detectives last night raided their homes in Bondi and Campsie, but believe they did act alone. A third gunman ruled out.
There was very little knowledge of either of these men by the authorities.
But we do know this.
The 50-year-old male is a licensed firearms holder. He has 6 firearms licensed to him. We are satisfied that we have 6 firearms from the scene yesterday.
Also seized 2 IEDs, improvised explosive devices, makeshift bombs found in the men's abandoned Hyundai.
I am very glad that those devices were not activated.
Officially declared a terrorist attack, there are reports the vehicle was draped in an ISIS-style flag.
That's all part of the investigation. Obviously, we will look at the motives behind this attack.
Police now launching Operation Shelter. 300 officers dispatched to keep peace on Sydney streets.
We will make sure that we are highly visible at places of worship, places that are known to be frequented by the Jewish community.
The Premier is already talking gun laws, a complete rebuild and review of who can hold weapons.
The short answer is yes, we're looking at that right now. We have to do everything we possibly can to ensure that this doesn't happen again.
With talk of nationwide reforms of the kind not seen since Port Arthur.
If there is any action required in terms of legislative response, we will certainly have it.
As the Albanese government is forced to defend its actions on anti-Semitism.
Has your government failed Jewish Australians when their worst nightmare was realised last night?
My government will continue to stand with Jewish Australians.
Fears now the simmering community tensions of these last 2 years are set to explode in a wave of retribution and revenge. While politicians on both sides are calling for calm, others are demanding action.
We look to government for national security, and this has been a catastrophic failure of that. There's no question about it.
We've been yelling this for over a year. No one is listening. Do you get it now?
Bondi now transformed into a kilometre-long crime scene as ancient hatreds from foreign lands again wash onto our shores. Chris Reason, 7 News.
This beach is so well known right around the world. It is such a symbol of our lifestyle and our culture. and that will endure. But this evening, this beach is sacred ground for the worst of reasons. The flowers behind me, tributes for the deaths of 15 innocent people, among them a 10-year-old girl named Matilda, 2 respected rabbis, even a Holocaust survivor. Paul Kadak reports on Sydney's mission to ensure we never forget their names and what their loved ones have lost.
The Bondi rabbi and father of 5, French engineer loving his life in Australia, devoted husband trying to shield his wife, rabbi devoted to the Jewish community, businessman and philanthropist, retired police detective and photographer, the 87-year-old Holocaust survivor, the 10-year-old girl.
We are all devastated.
Matilda's aunt, Lena, shared these pictures of her niece yesterday at the celebration before.
Beyond belief this happened. I look on the phone and I'm just hoping it's like will be a joke, not real.
The images capturing pure happiness. Matilda with her younger sister Summer, who their aunt worries for now.
Can't take back Matilda, but please help support Summer. Like, can you imagine on your eyes, like your beautiful sister killed?
A GoFundMe page for Matilda's family, already raising more than $100,000.
And I hope people remember Matilda like a beautiful, sweet child, beautiful like a sunshine, like a light in your life.
Rabbi Eli Schlanger, known as the Bondi Rabbi, was hosting the celebrations.
Anyone who knew him knew that he was the very best of us.
May you be inscribed and sealed for a year full of joy and happiness, prosperity, nachas from our children, and just happiness all around.
This is a person who rose each day with a simple mission of doing good, whatever good he could find, whatever kind deeds he could perform.
Once posting this was the best way to combat anti-Semitism, he practiced what he preached. He'd just become a father for the 5th time.
I held his newborn baby just 4 weeks ago at the synagogue that he ensured was built.
Witnesses, friends in disbelief.
He was the rabbi at our synagogue. Yeah, he was an amazing man, killed in cold blood for no reason.
Fellow Rabbi Yaakov Levitin was also gunned down on that senseless Sunday. He was deeply involved with the Jewish community. Tibor Weitzen was shot and fatally wounded while trying to shield his wife from the gunfire. She survived. Grandfather Reuven Morrison was a businessman, also an assistant at the local synagogue.
He was the most gracious host, and he was a generous man.
Alex Kleitman was a survivor of the Holocaust. When the shooting started, the grandfather was protecting his wife of 50 years, Larissa.
I have no husband. I don't know where is his body. Nobody can give me any answer. That's it.
Your husband was killed in the attack?
Yes.
He was a sharp, deeply engaged individual who lived a rich history, who survived Soviet communism and the purges and World War II and the Nazi killing squads to come to this place and to be felled by the bullet of an assassin.
For 4 decades, Peter Maher served his state as a police officer, a detective sergeant, and in retirement was a keen photographer. The man known as Marzo, a key member of the rugby community, volunteer and manager with the Randwick Club. The tragic irony, said its general manager today, that he spent so long in the dangerous front line as a police officer and was struck down in retirement while taking photos in his passion role is really hard to comprehend. 27-year-old Dan Elkayem, a French citizen who'd moved here to work as an engineer, remembered by his devastated family as a wonderful person, kind, an avid soccer player, talented and popular member of the Rockdale-Illendon League team. Lives treasured and now mourned. They are the confirmed victims of the massacre. 8 of the 15 we know lost their lives. For the 7 others, as their names and their stories become known, where their lives were taken, there is a growing tribute. Through the day, people have brought the most beautiful, colourful blooms, responding to the darkest of events. In the place that is such a symbol of Sydney, of Australia, now a sign to the world of its shock and sadness. Paul Kadak, 7 News.
It was horror born in hate and carried out in cold blood. Police today confirming a father and his own son, now forever known as the gunman, who somehow thought this slaughter was the answer to their anger. They lied about going fishing. Instead, they were intent on claiming as many innocent lives as possible. Tom Saker unmasks the family members police say are the Bondi Beach killers.
From these angles of the terrorists, you can almost see what they do. Sitting ducks in an open space, their targets, innocent people in Archer Park. The clearest picture we have yet of 50-year-old Sajid Akram, pausing here momentarily during the prolonged attack to put his glasses on and attack again. Naveed Akram, his 24-year-old son, not wasting any time between shots, repumping a shotgun again and again and again. The father and son had had practice. Sajid, who was eventually shot dead by police, was a member of the Zastava Hunting Association, based in Bondi, less than 2 kilometres from their home. To own firearms legally, being a member of a club is a prerequisite. A valid reason to shoot is another. His was recreational hunting. They own 6 registered firearms, at least 3 were used yesterday.
He was a member of a gun club and was entitled, by nature of the Firearms Act, to have a firearms licence issued.
The shooting club didn't return calls today. It's believed they practice on a government-owned and operated shooting range at Cecil Park, where recreational hunting training was clearly not the duo's objective.
It was aimed at the Jewish community. It is an act of terrorism.
But so many want to know why.
You've got to feel your life is over, or you've got to feel that this is a cause worth dying for. With these 2 men, my guess is life is no longer worth living. We'll go out in a blaze of glory is a much more likely scenario than this is a cause worth dying for.
And this from a former FBI agent.
We do see it generationally. We see, fathers pass this hatred down to sons. And so if you kind of keep down that road and you consume more and more of that kind of violent rhetoric material, it's going to brainwash you.
Naveed's mother reportedly saying he was a model son, a former student of Cabramatta High School, not particularly social, a former bricklayer and practising Muslim, pictured here in an Islamic library. He was an Australian citizen, his father was not, and you don't need to be Australian to own a gun licence.
The son is an Australian-born citizen. The father arrived in 1998 on a student visa, transferred in 2001 to a partner visa, and after each trip overseas since then has been on resident return visas.
Yesterday, the father and son reportedly brought with them to Bondi Beach an ISIS flag.
By and large, the lone actors, not lone in this case, a couple, are aiming to finish up dead among their victims. We're talking about people who are feel they've been totally misused in life, they've been unjustly treated.
The pair told their family they'd gone fishing in Jervis Bay for the weekend. They weren't fishing on the south coast though, far from it. They were here in Campsie renting an Airbnb right under their family's noses, preparing for a mass murder just a 35-minute drive from Bondi Beach. This is the Airbnb where they spent the hours before driving to the beach, where they'd stored guns, copious amounts of ammunition and improvised explosives, where they plotted hate. Tonight, prominent Sydney Muslims say they'll refuse to perform Islamic funeral rites to Sajid Akram as police, with help from counter-terror, close in on charging his son. Tom Saker, 7 News.
As terrible and as shocking as the carnage has been here, one enduring image will live on. A bystander risking his own life, rushing and then tackling and then disarming one of the killers. He is father of 2, Ahmed El Ahmed, who was then shot multiple times. We'll never know how many lives he saved following that one incredible dash. A shop owner from the Shire who ran headlong into heroism.
Leaping into action, 43-year-old Ahmed El Ahmed tackling a gunman, wrestling away his rifle. Now it's the terrorist staring down the barrel. He falls to the ground and backs away. But there are still bullets being fired by the gunman's son from a nearby bridge. Ahmed is hit, blood pouring down his arm, taken to St George Hospital for emergency surgery.
He had 2 shots. One
in his arm here and one in his hand.
Ahmed's cousin, Mustafa, among the first to visit. The father of two in hospital, now considered a national treasure.
Absolutely, he's a hero. Absolutely. Because maybe he can lose his life to save the other people.
Another cousin, Hussein, comforted the father of two after he was shot.
Yeah, he was very scared. He was looking, he told me like, I want to die, I love you, stay with me, don't leave me.
He says Ahmed, originally from Syria, has lived in Australia for around 12 to 13 years. His parents, overcome with emotion. He wasn't thinking about himself, his father said. He was thinking about the other people. On an evening of horror, there were numerous acts of bravery. Bondi's lifeguards using their buggy to shield beachgoers and providing life-saving first aid.
There's two of them already in there while the bullets were still getting fired, trying to resuscitate some of the people. And at the same time, one of the guys had to go and do a rescue. So half the team are up doing resus with bullets being fired. The other half, they're down still doing rescues on the beach.
Others rushed to help.
There were a couple of people helping the officer. I think someone from the surf club trying to wrap his gunshot wound. So I tried to help them, put pressure on the wounds. He was very brave. He was trying his best to stay conscious.
All those who stepped up, earning the nation's thanks.
We know that a number of people are alive now because of the actions of innocent bystanders.
First responders, including ordinary citizens who acted yesterday, thank you for what you do. People rushing towards danger to show the best of the Australian character.
Here at St George Hospital, one of the heroes at Bondi Beach, Ahmed Al-Ahmed, continues to recover from his multiple bullet wounds. He's in a stable condition, expected to undergo more surgery tomorrow. Even people who have never met him are keen to show they care.
Give him flowers just to show us support and our gratitude for him, for what he's done.
Respect too from the United States President.
There's been a very, very brave person actually who went and attacked frontally one of the shooters and saved a lot of lives.
A GoFundMe page has so far raised more than $800,000 from those amazed by his bravery. One American billionaire donating close to $100,000 for a humble Aussie who showed true courage under fire. Sam Payne, 7 News.
This memorial here at Bondi Beach has been growing all day. Thousands turning out, laying flowers and taking an important moment to mourn and to reflect. Michael Usher joins me now. Michael, there's still so much disbelief and so much despair.
Yeah, there is, Mark, and over the course of the day the emotions have really shifted and changed. When I was down here very early on, not too many people, I don't think many people knew that they could come down to this memorial site, but it's gradually grown, and right now there are a lot of people. Some people are laying flowers, some people are doing what they can to express their emotions that way, others are standing silently, and at various times throughout the day as well that has shifted. There's been intense moments of quiet, some reflection, then other people would speak. Various faith leaders would come, some would lead a sermon, some would recite verse, some would sing. At one point they all burst into Advance Australia Fair, which was very uplifting, but then it becomes very sombre again. It is a true roller coaster of emotion as everybody just comes to sit, think, reflect and be part of a community again down here. Mark.
Yeah, such an important place right now, Michael, thank you. The incredible stories of bravery have been matched by remarkable stories of survival. Strangers saving strangers, parents shielding children they'd never met from the barrage of bullets. Many sought shelter where they could, under bridges and picnic tables. Taylor Aiken reports on the survivors of the Bondi Beach massacre.
As terror erupted, so too did the fight to survive. Noah and Isaac were trapped, frozen in fear, coming face to face with a killer.
We were approaching the bridge, we just hear boom, 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 boom.
Both physically uninjured, but mentally scarred.
I don't know how we're alive. Me and my brother are crouched behind a truck. I'm just looking at him and trying to get his attention. Come this way, come this way.
The dead scattered amongst the injured as paramedics worked desperately to save lives. The injured sent right across Sydney's hospital network. Some even drove themselves. Their injuries ranging from scrapes and bruises to being in the fight for their lives. 27 people are still being treated tonight across 8 Sydney hospitals around the city. 6 are still fighting for their lives. 6 more critical but stable. 11 listed as stable.
This took a response of more than 123 personnel from New South Wales Ambulance. Some of our paramedics are from the Jewish community and attended that scene and continued their duties diligently and professionally.
Dovey was shot in the back, shrapnel lodged in his skin.
I got a graze in the back, a bit of shrapnel in there, so I just came to the hospital. They dug that all out and bandaged it up for me.
He was at the Hanukkah event with his family when gunshots rang out.
And then I just ran, grabbed my kids and just ran down to the beach and hid behind the wall.
Still in his hospital gown, he lights a candle and places it on a menorah, determined to keep the Festival of Light burning bright. Also injured, human rights lawyer Arsen Ostrovsky. The bullet grazed me in the head. I lost a lot of blood. Doctors said it was millimetres between life and death, and a miracle I made it. He moved his family to Australia from Israel 2 weeks ago. It was like reliving October 7th all over. I never thought it would be possible here in Australia. From innocent bystanders to political leaders. State Liberal leader Kelly Sloan is the local member. She was at a neighbouring event when she was bundled into a community ambulance.
And then I just went in and tried to help people, and it was devastating.
Overcome by emotion and devastated for an entire community.
People were gutted from what they'd seen, but also because they felt that you just wanted to do more, right? Yeah. And there was only, I know, there's nothing we could do, you know, and that's really, really hard.
Alex Kiss has lived in Bondi for 3 decades. He watched the attack play out.
I'm still beating myself up about it, thinking, while I was thinking, oh, this was just fake, people are getting killed.
Now left to process the moment they witnessed terror unfold in their own backyard.
I feel very sad, I feel very sombre, I feel very angry. I feel very angry that all this hatred's being bought from overseas. It should stay there. It doesn't belong here.
Police have established a community reception centre here at the Intercontinental in Coogee, encouraging anyone who witnessed yesterday's shooting unfold to come down and speak with detectives and support staff. As belongings from what was meant to be a normal summer day at Australia's most famous beach are now abandoned, waiting to go home. Taylor Aiken, 7 News.
Let's go live now to Miley Hogan, who is outside Royal Prince Alfred Hospital. Good evening, Miley. The Police Commissioner Mal Lanyon is among the many visitors.
Mark, good evening. He has been. 2 officers were badly hurt in the attack, and early this morning, Commissioner Lanyon paid a quiet bedside visit to both of them. We are told this evening those officers are in a serious but stable condition, and no doubt they have been praised for their bravery and their courage and told that they have the full support of the force behind them. For others here at RPA tonight, it is still touch and go. 3 survivors are clinging to life in a critical condition. Another 2 are critical but stable, and 1 other is stable. We have seen loved ones come and go from here today, visibly upset, but they are hoping, as is everyone this evening, that these survivors will pull through. Mark.
Absolutely, everyone. Miley Hogan, thank you. There is an enormous burden now on the Premier and his police chief, and Chris Minns joins me now from the Bondi Beach Public School. Premier, thank you so much for your time this evening. We're all reeling from this, but it certainly does hit harder the closer you get to this beach.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely devastating scenes over the last 24 hours. I am filled with hope, though, at the number of Australians that have come down here to pay their respects, to mourn with the community, to stand in solidarity with the Jewish community of Sydney and say that they won't stand for this disgusting display of naked violence in our city.
Premier, we're just down the road from where the Bondi Junction rampage unfolded. Can you believe we are here again? So many lives lost and so much heartache.
Yeah, it's a community that's reeling, and it's The last 2 years have been incredibly difficult for the Bondi community. It's also worth reporting that the paramedics and the police officers are from the same command, Mark. So a lot of the people that responded to the Bondi Junction crime, where the people were killed in the Westfield shopping centre, also attended on the weekend, and we owe them a huge debt of gratitude. Our police officers ran towards danger. 2 of them are in a critical condition tonight in New South Wales hospitals. And it's just a reminder of the debt, the obligation that we owe the men and women of the New South Wales Police Force. They do an incredible job.
Speaking of obligation, Premier, you lead this state. Does your government need to do much more to keep us all as safe as possible?
I mean, the short answer is yes. We need a massive police response. Operation Shelter has been launched by the Police Commissioner Mal Lanyon. Over 400 police on the streets in these communities, sending a clear and unambiguous message that our responsibility is to keep the community safe. It will take time, but bit by bit we need to rebuild Jewish public life in our state. They've been hit incredibly hard, and anti-Semitism, Mark, is a cancer. Once it gets into the marrow of a community, it's difficult to turn around, but we have to throw everything at it and never tolerate racism, anti-Semitism in our community, never.
Premier, we appreciate your time at the end of a very difficult day. Thank you. Stay with us on our coverage of the Bondi Beach terror attack. Next, Anthony Albanese fending off a blistering tirade from Israel's Prime Minister. Also, red flags, the warning security agencies had not just recently, but 6 years ago. And the world wraps its arms around Australia, around Sydney and around Bondi Beach. Tributes growing by the minute and by the hour as the Bondi Pavilion becomes a memorial, a shrine for the 15 innocent lives lost. Welcome back to our special coverage of the Bondi Beach terror attack. The Prime Minister is tonight trying to dodge criticism, not just from here, but from around the globe, that he has not done enough to stem anti-Semitism. Our security agencies are also on the defence after one of the gunmen was put on their radar 6 years ago.
A lone gesture, laying a floral tribute at a landmark now forever stained by death. A moment of reflection as these words ring in his ears.
Your government did nothing to stop the spread of anti-Semitism in Australia.
The Israeli Prime Minister blunt, scathing, calling Anthony Albanese weak, accusing him of allowing hatred to grow like a cancer, holding his government responsible for the massacre.
You took no action, you let the disease spread, and the result is the horrific attacks on Jews we saw today.
Mr Albanese wanting to avoid a slanging match, but rejecting the criticism.
My government will continue to stand with Jewish Australians and continue to stand to stamp out anti-Semitism in all of its forms.
To some Jewish leaders, though, he hasn't done enough.
He's had recommendations of his envoy on anti-Semitism for, 5 or 6 months, and nothing's happened.
From the envoy herself,
there are aspects of my plan that need to be accelerated.
Like education on anti-Semitism, law reform and policing hatred on social media.
Because hateful words lead, as we've seen, to hateful action.
The Prime Minister says the main recommendations have been already implemented, others are on the way.
There is anger. There is palpable anger.
Susan Lee directing that anger towards the government.
Anti-Semitism in Australia has been left to fester.
A threat evident in the days after Hamas's October 7 attacks and during Israel's brutal response in Gaza. Australia's city landmarks, magnets for mass protest.
And while this has all happened, our leaders have been bystanders. They've just allowed these flames of hate to burn.
A claim the Prime Minister rejects.
We stand against anti-Semitism. We will do whatever is necessary to stamp it out. Anti-Semitism is a scourge.
Calling emergency meetings of his Cabinet, the National Security Committee and National Cabinet with the Premiers. The first action, fast-tracking gun law reform. Anthony Albanese wanting to limit the number of guns that can be held and have gun licences subject to regular review. Building on the landmark reforms introduced by John Howard after the Port Arthur massacre almost 30 years ago.
What we saw yesterday was an act of pure evil.
And a failure of Australia's intelligence safety net. The son, Naveed Akram, had come to ASIO's notice in 2019, associated with radicals.
One of these individuals was known to us, but not in an immediate threat perspective.
With flags at half-mast around the country and anger, pain and blame.
As Australia's Prime Minister, do you regret not having done more?
A question that will now follow him.
And Mark Riley joins me now live from Canberra. Mark, the National Cabinet has just broken up. What have they decided?
Well, generally, Mark, a national pledge to eradicate anti-Semitism, hate, violence and terrorism specifically, detailing a new national gun reform agenda, limiting the number of firearms any one individual can have, ordering most licences to be regularly reviewed, limiting the types of weapons that are legally available, sharing criminal intelligence to better inform licensing decisions in the first place, limiting licences only to Australian citizens and accelerating the establishment of a national firearms register. The biggest changes since Port Arthur and not before time. But the biggest immediate challenge Anthony Albanese faces is convincing not just Australians but the world that he can return this country from a place of fear to a place of cherished freedoms. Mark?
Mark Riley with the very latest from Canberra. Thank you. Too many times Australia has reached out when terror strikes overseas. Tonight, the world is embracing us. It's clear compassion has no borders or nationality. In moments like this, it's so important to remember we are one.
Outside Australia House in London, a vigil for those lost at Bondi.
Just really saddened. It's scary, and this is the ultimate tragedy.
Just horrified by what's happened.
A similar outpouring of grief at the Australian Embassy in Paris. At Hanukkah celebrations in Budapest too.
There's no greater darkness than people just taking a rifle and killing innocent people at a religious event.
Israel's parliament was lit up with the colours of the Australian flag, while in Tel Aviv there were candles and prayers.
We are all 2 degrees of separation at most from people who were there.
The deadly rampage has shocked the world.
The father and son gunmen who unleashed terror at a Jewish celebration on Bondi Beach.
This shooting is really the most serious and, of course, the most deadly of attacks.
From King Charles, my wife and I are appalled and saddened. From the Prince and Princess of Wales, our thoughts are with every Australian today. The ambush bringing back painful memories of a stabbing frenzy outside a Manchester synagogue in October. British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer posting, "The United Kingdom sends our thoughts and condolences." From the French President, "We share the pain of the Australian people and will continue to fight relentlessly against anti-Semitic hatred." From Denmark's King Frederick and Australian-born Queen Mary, "We and the people of Denmark are profoundly saddened by the tragic news." In Washington, D.C., the start of Hanukkah was marked with a tribute to the victims.
I ask that everyone pray for the recovery of those who were injured. That was an anti-Semitic attack, obviously, and I just want to pay my respects to everybody.
Mass shootings are common in the United States, but news of one in Australia has left many Americans in disbelief.
In Australia, of all places, where it is really hard to get a gun, these determined terrorists have guns and they have IEDs, reportedly. I mean, what can be done?
In the United States, of course, sadly, this has become an epidemic. It happens so often. It is so rare that we've seen something like this happen in Australia, but they're now, of course, suffering something that we have experienced all too often here in the United States.
The FBI has confirmed it's assisting with the investigation. In the United States, Rob Scott, 7 News.
I just want to give you a clearer picture of the very powerful scenes that are unfolding behind me right now. A rabbi leading many, many members of our Jewish community in some very emotional, very powerful scenes as they go about the business of mourning their friends and their loved ones. Still to come, we have incredible stories of survival and desperation. They continue to emerge. Next, Sunrise's Katie Brown caught in the violence, how she escaped to safety. Fears of a repeat of the Cronulla riots, a frightening escalation, the warnings for groups seeking revenge. And later, the video you haven't seen. We're with the cameraman who risked his life and stared down a killer. "24 hours ago, almost to the exact minute, the panic began as shots rang out across Bondi Beach. From a crime scene to the aftermath, belongings lost in the chaos. Today, this is now a place for very solemn reflection. If you live here in Sydney or you have been a tourist here, it's all but guaranteed you've been to Bondi Beach perhaps many times and stood where this terror unfolded. Here's Hugh Whitfield to explain exactly where this happened.
Bondi Beach is about 1 kilometre long. The attack happened at the northern end. It's a popular corner. Bondi Pavilion, a key community gathering point where there's a cafe and bar. Bondi Surf Club, and a bit further up, the North Bondi Surf Club. All were busy on a Sunday afternoon. The bridge from where the gunman fired off all those rounds is here, crossing one of the car parks. That bridge gave the gunman elevation to see down into Archer Park, where the Hanukkah by the Sea celebrations were taking place, packed with people. There's a children's playground here in the corner too. The elder gunman wanted to get closer, down here off the bridge, closer to the park, and it's here about 30 metres along the path that our Aussie hero makes his move, prizing the weapon off him before the terrorist retreats to the bridge with his son. This scene of mass murder that became a scene of great acts of heroism too.
She's used to telling the story, not being part of it. Sunrise reporter Katie Brown was here at Bondi when the gunman opened fire yesterday. Today, she returned to the scene, retracing those moments with David Woywood.
So where were you?
Yeah, so we were right just above the pools. We got up there, and that's where people went into like full stampede, fear mode. And I thought I'll just hide behind that tree right by the stairs and just put my surfboard up. And there were already a couple of guys behind the tree, and then a couple of girls were running, jumping on top of us. And I said, get behind my surfboard, we'll use this as a shield. And then I thought the gunshots are gonna stop. Like, this is just a few, right? And then it just kept happening.
We were going to go up there and you were going to show us where you were using your surfboard as a shield, but how do you feel when you like, what's it bringing back?
Oh, like the scariest day of my life. Probably just going, I could die today, because it sounds silly, but it's because we didn't know. I didn't know that the shooters were that way. You know, I thought it felt like they were right there, and not having like an exit.
I know that you love this beach.
I love this beach.
You spend so much time.
Favourite.
And you can't walk up there. Does it feel like something's been taken away? Like a lost innocence here from not just you, but something wider?
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, I don't even know what I feel. It feels like I just can't move. Like I just don't want to go over there. Not yet. Yeah.
Oh,
There are fears tonight of retribution attacks over the Bondi Beach massacre. Let's go live to Amy Clements at Cronulla. Amy, there's a very worrying invitation circling tonight.
Yes, Mark, social media posts are calling for people to gather here at Cronulla Beach later this month. I won't repeat the wording because it is offensive and it is inflammatory, but the posts are clearly targeting the Middle Eastern community and encouraging violence. And the last thing police want is a repeat of the Cronulla riots from 20 years ago. The police commissioner says he is aware of the posts and is planning appropriate action. Some of the content has already been deleted and it is unclear if it will still go ahead at this stage, but the public is being urged not to engage. Mark.
Amy Clements at Cronulla, thank you. Tonight, Coogee is the heartbeat for many families affected by the Bondi Beach mass shooting. Next, what's being done for loved ones and for witnesses? And our gun laws back in the spotlight. Details of the tighter regulations starting now. A name that no doubt will go down in history. Ahmed El Ahmed, the man who put his own life on the line to save countless others. The Sutherland shop owner, shot but alive, now in hospital. A true hero in a time of tragedy. Now, police have set up a community centre for those caught up in this massacre. They can speak to investigators at the Intercontinental in Coogee. Loved ones of those impacted by the shooting and witnesses are urged to stop by for any support they may need. The second deadliest gun massacre in Australian history is very likely to lead to tougher laws. Just as gun ownership was tightened after Port Arthur, the Prime Minister has now flagged limits to the number of guns someone can legally own.
Blow after deadly blow. Guns seized by police were legal. Sajid Akram, a terrorist with a recreational hunting licence.
The Firearms Registry conduct a thorough examination of all applications.
Somehow deemed fit and proper to own 6 guns.
He had a Category A/B licence, which entitled him to have the long arms that he had.
The father and son using the weapons in the largest shooting massacre since Port Arthur in 1996.
That trauma will be there forever.
Trauma which prompted an overhaul of our gun laws. The Prime Minister under pressure this morning.
We will look at whatever is necessary.
This afternoon announcing rules will tighten even more.
People's circumstances change. People can be radicalised over a period of time.
A review of gun licences and more regular licence checks.
Yes, now is the time. The community expects something to be done.
From Walter Mikak, who lost his wife and children at Port Arthur, this is a horrific reminder of the need to stay vigilant and of the importance of ensuring our gun laws continue to protect the safety of all Australians. Taking aim at the New South Wales Premier last month on 7 News, calling for an urgent cap on ballooning legal gun numbers.
Have the strength and gut intestinal fortitude to actually make this happen.
A 7 News investigation exposing a long list of licensed Sydney owners with hundreds of guns in their suburban homes.
That's enough weapons for a small army.
At the time, the Premier didn't want to discuss legislation proposing more limits for hunters.
But I think that it's up to the Premier to stand up now and say, no, we need to change things.
Limits firmly on the table today at National Cabinet.
I think it's time that we have a change to the law, but I'm not ready to announce it today. Not everybody needs these weapons of mass destruction.
The Premier now even saying he won't rule out recalling Parliament over the Christmas break to tighten the state's gun laws, with calls for a police audit of licences right now.
We know who these people are, we know where they live. All their details are recorded with the police via the Firearms Registry. We need to start immediately doing an audit on these people.
And Serena Andaloro is at a private vigil at a synagogue in Bondi tonight. Serena, the local Jewish community has come together to remember those killed and pray for the many injured.
Mark, a Jewish community in mourning. And as a nation, we're all heartbroken and thinking of the souls of the 15 innocent people who should still be here today. This private vigil has a heavy police and security presence out front, riot police helicopters overhead, the new reality in a city on edge. And for Rabbi Yehoram Ullman, who's presiding over the service, it's personal. He organised yesterday's gathering at Bondi Beach and he lost his son-in-law, Eli Schlanger. We have seen immeasurable darkness during what is supposed to be the Jewish Festival of Light. And to fight back, we're all being asked to take a moment, light a candle, and remember who we are, Mark.
Yeah, that is very good advice, Serena. Thank you. Tonight we can bring you chilling new pictures of the Bondi Beach shooting. Next, a cameraman hears the gunshots and starts recording face to face with the killers. Chris Reason's moving interview. And what next for Bondi, our most famous beach, now an infamous crime scene. These are the scenes down at Bondi Beach this evening, almost exactly 24 hours after two gunmen unleashed terror across what is an iconic stretch of Australia. The memorial just keeps growing, the feelings just keep growing as well. The true fear running through people's heads and hearts last night is very hard to comprehend. But this next story will show you just how tense it was here yesterday evening. Recorded and recounted by an experienced international camera operator who spoke to Chief Reporter Chris Reason.
Are they gunshots?
Yeah.
Where is he?
I wouldn't go out there, be careful.
You heard those gunshots. Talk me through what happened. I guess it took me, I reckon, probably about 20 seconds to go, that's not right, you know. And so I walked to the window that was open and leading out to the beach. And I noticed three people running into our communal laundry on the ground level. And there was a young girl there, and I said, "Are they gunshots?" She said, "Yeah, they're gunshots." And she had the look of someone who'd been running for her life. I was able to establish the shots were coming from a distance, and so then I followed my way up cross Campbell Parade and followed my way up. There was a couple of police cars and a couple of officers who were pinned essentially. They were you'd tucked down, you have guns drawn obviously, and I actually was at the rear of the vehicle, and I'd actually had a better view. And they couldn't, they were getting fired upon, and they couldn't really stick their head up. Whereas I made a quick calculation when I first got there. When I realised the guy on the bridge was shooting, I thought, by the time he turns, lines me up, I can get down. I was put to the test, yeah. You saw the hero do his thing. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, and I actually thought, because while he's holding the gun at him, I thought he'd shot him, and then bang, 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 the guy on the bridge. So then you realise there are two, the one in front of you, and another one on the bridge. That's right. He was in mode, this bloke. Like he was, as close enough to me, he was angry, Rizzo. So you could see it on his face. You could. In his eyes. Yeah. And then there was another, then the breakout of violence on the bridge. It was another crazy scene to get your head around. In such close proximity, you could see the scuffles going on as the police and bystanders were trying to bring this gunman to the ground. Was that just chaos? Mate, if the police weren't there, they were torn to shreds. And the police, I think, handled that really well. They did. I thought, and I guess at that stage people didn't really know who else is, or is there anyone else? So that felt like the sort of culmination of it for me up on the bridge when they had those guys pinned. Do you think Bondi will be Bondi again? We took a big hit yesterday, so it's I don't know. It's I don't know. We don't realise how lucky we got it, mate. This is as good as it gets. Don't stuff it up, Cheers, mate.
Incredible insight, and Chief Reporter Chris Reason joins me now. Chris, there are now many questions about a lack of police presence before the Hanukkah celebration got underway.
Mark, many Jewish people I've spoken to who were at that Hanukkah festival yesterday are asking that question, given this was such a significant religious festival that attracts hundreds of people each year, why there wasn't a greater presence of a police force on the ground here. By one person's count, they only saw two young officers involved in the security detail at this incident yesterday. To be clear, no one is criticising the response of the police to running into the face face of adversity yesterday afternoon, but they're asking questions. Why? 2 years down the track after the October 7 attacks and all of the anti-Semitic violence we've seen, there hasn't been more done, raising questions again about the state government's commitment to Jewish security.
Yeah, questions that need answers. Chris, thank you. This precious slice of our city has been challenged before. The massacre at Bondi Junction was just last year. Now this. But so many are here this evening to remind us this community is unbreakable.
A symbol of our love for the outdoors, salt, sand and the Australian spirit.
It's just a gorgeous place.
I've been in Bondi for the last 30 years. Full of young people, full of life, full of tourists.
Or have some connection to Bondi Beach, but no one has seen it like this.
This is my home and I cannot believe something as horrific would happen here.
The backdrop for famous events, City to Surf, Sculptures by the Sea. It's a place for talent to shine. But that light has dimmed right down.
It's been an incredibly traumatic time for our community. The last few years have been incredibly tough.
3 kilometres away, Bondi Junction, the attacks at Westfield, 200 surfers took to the ocean remembering victims. Bob saw Bondi as a refuge for Holocaust survivors.
Kids I went to school with had numbers tattooed on their arms. So it was only 4 years after World War II.
Bondi's a resilient place, you know, and it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. It'll take time, but it'll be Bondi again.
We'll bond together and it'll make us even more determined.
There would ordinarily be no greater place to enjoy just 2 weeks into summer. But right as festivities get underway, markets for Christmas, a festival for New Year's Eve and celebrations for Australia Day are all under a cloud. Hanukkah events in the Waverley area have been cancelled. A snap meeting called for tomorrow.
I will be putting up a motion with the Deputy Mayor looking at what Council can do to support our community and community service organisations, and whether that is financial contribution as well as other services.
I also just want it to be still a safe place for people from overseas to come, because now that this has happened I don't want them to feel unsafe.
Angelique Opie, 7 News.
The shooter's family traced to Bonnyrigg. We're live there next with breaking news on the killers after a night of police raids. And understanding the trauma of what no doubt is a life-altering event. Remember, you are not alone. Details about crucial support, that's after the break. Welcome back. We have breaking news now on the Bondi gunmen. Let's go live to Clementine Cuneo at their home in Bonnyrigg. Clementine, what are your sources telling you?
Yeah, Mark, so we've just learned in the last few moments that police have discovered that the father and son shooter, who are from this house behind me, have just spent the past month in the Philippines. They only returned to Sydney in the last fortnight. Now, the Philippines is known as a training ground for terrorism. So we also know that the father and son went there alone. The rest of the family didn't go. We would imagine that the family members who remain in this house, who were cleared out of here last night, we saw vision of them coming out of the house last night. That is when they were assisting investigators. This is now a very top line of their inquiries.
Yeah, that's sounding like a very important piece of this deadly puzzle. Clementine, thank you. It is tough to stand here tonight, much tougher for those caught up in the chaos 24 hours ago. But many millions of Australians are now trying to come to terms with what they have seen. While the violence is over, mental health experts warn the emotional toll is only just beginning. Support services, including Lifeline and Beyond Blue, are ramping up operations to help anyone and everyone impacted. For children in particular, all this can be extremely distressing.
We're used to seeing scenes like this overseas, on our screens, far away from home. But when terror strikes in our backyard, somewhere so familiar and so loved, the impact cuts deeper. Millions are watching on in horror. on the television, on their phones, traumatised by these violent images. Doctors say it's normal to feel shock, anxiety, insomnia, even nausea.
No two people will respond the same. Give yourself the time, the space, the permission to grieve, to go through the processes that you need to.
Here at Lifeline, services have ramped up. Crisis supporters are working round the clock. Since the attack, more than 2,000 calls for help have been made, a significant increase in demand.
Lifeline has been able to absorb the extra contacts that we're getting.
Hello, this is Lifeline.
You don't need to be in a crisis to call, just feeling overwhelmed or needing someone to talk to.
This is what we're here for.
Other services include Beyond Blue and the mental health line. During this difficult time, children are especially vulnerable. They cannot process fear or understand what they're seeing. The new social media ban may have spared millions of children from seeing the shocking footage, but many have. Doctors say parents must limit exposure to the attack and reassure their kids everything will be okay.
Talk to children, but keep it brief, keep it age appropriate. Don't elaborate on too many details. Start off by asking what it is that they know and then respond to questions that they might have.
There were those who were there fleeing for their lives, the victims, their families, the first responders trying to save them. They'll relive the horror again and again. Louisa Hope was a victim of the Lint Cafe siege 11 years to the day.
It never leaves you, quite frankly.
She's helping the organisation Victims of Terrorism Australia.
We can get on with our lives and we can recover, so do not be afraid.
A victims support scheme is now available through the New South Wales Government, providing counselling and financial assistance.
They're working on setting up a static operation on site in Bondi if you need that help and support, as no doubt the community will.
For millions, emotions will come in waves. Recovery doesn't happen overnight, but in time, we will heal. Jennifer Beshwati, 7 News.
Yeah, please ask for help if you need it. Sydney-siders step up in our city's moment of need. Queues of locals donating blood. In fact, it's happening right around the country. How you can help.
It's that time of year again. I can feel it in the...
The crowds continue to grow, the flowers continue to swell, and emotions remain as high as ever down here at Bondi Beach this evening. Welcome back. It is a crucial time for an update on Australia's blood supply. Following the tragedy here at Bondi Beach, Lifeblood needs more donations, especially O negative and O positive, the types used for emergencies. You can visit lifeblood.com.au to book your donation for the coming days or the weeks ahead. And that's exactly what was happening across Sydney today. A remarkable response to this tragedy. People queued for hours to donate blood after the call went out. People desperate to help in any way they could. It was a clear reminder that terror will not divide and terror will not win.
Queues out the door and plans dropped.
Cancelled lunch and came straight down.
It's the most minuscule thing that we can do to help.
Yeah.
There were lengthy wait times to give blood at Town Hall, but donors refused to walk away.
2 hours is fine. I felt super hopeless at home, just sitting and doing nothing, and I felt that there was something that you have to do.
With an urgent call for O negative blood.
It's the blood group that can be used immediately when a patient's blood type is unknown.
With up to 100 donations needed to save one life, the plea for donors was answered nationwide.
I think you can feel pretty helpless in these situations, whether you're far away from it or not, but it's a really simple thing to sit in a chair and give blood.
The call went out that they needed blood that would be sent to New South Wales, so it came out, and you can see that a whole bunch of people have come out as well.
There's a phrase in Jewish liturgy that somebody who saves one life, it's as though they saved the entire world, so we want to do our part.
The response so extraordinary, Lifeblood's booking system crashed.
We're asking people to be patient and persist.
This call to action doesn't stop today. For those still looking to do their part, donations made in the coming days and even weeks will make a difference.
People have done a whole lot more than me, so if I can do my small bit, I'll do it every day of the week.
Whatever your blood type, we will take it.
I survived a couple of attacks back in London, similar ones, so I know what it is. I just want to come and be the part of the community.
A nation showing up and turning grief into action. After a shocking act of terror, this a reminder that kindness is unshakable. Amy Clements, 7 News.
Australian and English cricketers have put their Ashes rivalry aside. Next, the build-up to the third test takes a serious turn. How star players have responded to the Bondi Beach tragedy. We're back soon. Welcome back to Bondi. In sport, the Ashes rivals united in anguish today, offering heartfelt condolences to everyone affected by this terror attack. Players will observe a minute's silence and wear black armbands in Wednesday's third test at the Adelaide Oval.
The Ashes rivalry put to one side to unite in grief.
We're extremely saddened and a horrific day for everyone involved, and we stand by them.
My condolences and everybody involved with England cricket. We are really thinking about them. Extremely sorry for what happened.
The teams with a joint statement on the tragic events, sending their condolences to the victims and the Jewish community. Australian captain Pat Cummins urging us to donate blood. Players will pay tribute before play on Wednesday with a moment's silence, black armbands and flags at half-mast. There'll also be extra security measures for the match, with heavily armed anti-terror police out in force. England's made one change for the third test, with fast bowler Josh Tongue in for Gus Atkinson. Star batsman Harry Brook, who's been his own worst enemy, is bursting for a big score with the series on the line.
They were shocking shots. I admit that every day of the week. Yeah, that's what I mean when I try to say that I need to rein it in a little bit.
After being controversially left out of the second test, off-spinner Nathan Lyon returns to the side at his beloved Adelaide Oval, where he's been added to the Avenue of Honour.
First ever test match here was on the roller here back in 2010 and funny enough against England, so it's the best ground in the world, and as I said, it was a pretty amazing honour.
Lyon needs just 2 wickets to move past Glenn McGrath's 563 on Australia's all-time test list. In Adelaide, Tom Wilson, 7 News.
And David Warner will miss the Thunder's clash with the Hurricanes in Hobart tomorrow night through injury. In last night's rain-shortened Big Bash opener in Perth, played while the Bondi terror attack was unfolding, star Sixers recruit Baba Azam made just 2 against the Scorchers. Chasing 114, Cooper Connolly's half-century got Perth home by 5 wickets at Optus Stadium. The crowd is continuing to grow here at Bondi Beach this evening. Hundreds more mourners have arrived as the sun has set, and what has been a heartbreaking day as the reality of this terror attack sinks in. Next, Amber Laidler will have Sydney's weather.
Yes, more cloudy skies are expected tomorrow, but sunshine isn't far away. I'll have your full forecast coming up next. Good evening. Some cloud cover about today, so temperatures were much closer to average, hovering in most suburbs in the 20s. It was warmest at Penrith, which reached 28. To the satellite picture now, and onshore winds are pushing plenty of moisture up and along the coast. We will see that persist in parts tomorrow. Conditions will then clear briefly before more showers arrive over the weekend. But elsewhere tomorrow, a shower or two expected in Brisbane, 28 under partly cloudy skies in Canberra, sunny in Adelaide, 30 and partly cloudy in Perth. Across New South Wales tomorrow, isolated showers are expected across the state's east. We'll go to that state page now. Possibly some isolated showers and storms further north, with daytime temperatures well above average, well below average rather, across the state's east too, as the clouds keep a lid on temperatures, hovering around 21 to 23 degrees tomorrow. We could see a few light falls during the morning, potentially persisting into the afternoon across the far west. On coastal waters, southeasterlies run at up to 15 knots before turning easterly during the late morning. But back in the city tomorrow, a cloudy top of 23 degrees is forecast. We will see glimpses of sunshine on Wednesday. That's when temperatures start climbing again, with clear skies expected to return on Thursday. Friday, it'll be mostly sunny to start. Showers developing, there we go, during the afternoon and evening. So a little bit gloomy again tomorrow, but sunshine not far away, Mark.
OK, Amber, thank you. That is one of our city's most difficult days, and there are many more to come. But as we know, our city has resilience in reserve. We'll have updates for you throughout the evening and a special edition of 7 News straight after the cricket. I'm Mark Ferguson from all the team. Take care.